This is JordanTower with JT News. Make sure you smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. All right, so Lil Uzi drops into the crowd with probably a couple $100,000 in jewelry on him. Who does this? Well, like hungry lions seeing steak, they grab at his chains and they rob him of $200K in chains. And he can't even be mad about it because he knows he messed up. He thought his fans, that's not all your fans. You're at like Rolling Loud, I think, right? It's not all just your fans. Some people are like, yo, I'm gonna take this opportunity to grab this chain. You know why? If you are always stunting on everybody like Khaled does and everything, nobody's gonna cry over you losing anything. Nobody's gonna cry over you getting your house broken into, whatever, you know, because you're always throwing it in people's faces how rich you are. And there's nothing wrong with it. You worked hard for it. But don't be surprised when nobody cares because you have so much more than them. They can't really care about that, you know? Like, things happen with me. I don't talk about too much stuff because it's like, bro, like, you got to just be grateful that you got stuff, you know? Like, the thing I hate the most is like someone just take it from grandparents and stuff like that. I've seen people do that. I totally don't, you know, I don't respect any robbery at all, but like I can understand like Lil Uzi Vert gets it. Like people aren't going to care you lost a $200K chain, you know? Well, Audemars Piguet they're collabing with Swatch. This is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. This is like how to kill your brand overnight. May 16th, they're going to be dropping these $300 to $500 watches. And anybody who's paid $200K for a watch or whatever, watch them get rid of them now. Because it's not as, it takes all the value away. If you paid $5,000 for an Audemars Piguet and you saved up for it, and then they kill the brand. Like think about if BMWs were just $15,000 and everyone could drive them. It takes the special part away from it. It's not just about it being, it's about being something that's hard to get. It's like a trophy, you know? And they took that away from it. So I saw DDG saying he's going to get rid of his. I saw Aiden Ross. Vlad said he doubts it'll affect the price of real APs, but it will kill the people wanting it for sure. Benny the Jeweler, who's pretty famous for jewelry, says big mistake from AP by doing this. Facts. That's how I feel too. Selena Powell was interviewed by RBK.Lens, okay? And she's at Rolling Loud, and he's talking about whose number she's going to get, all that from Rolling Loud. Look at Selena Powell now. She looks like Larsa Pippen. She looks 50-something years old now. This is what happens when you abuse yourself with injections. And I'm not even saying this to shame her. It's like she just needs to chill, bro. Like you're abusing. Like you had a come up. You got on OF, and you got a lot of money, right? Retire, man. Retire. You're tripping. You're out here pumping your body full of drinks, and you're going to doctors, and you're getting blood. It's just looking crazy, you know, like. Chill, man. Like, it looks crazy, to be honest. Joelle Santana blames he's still talking about this, the VERZUZ, years ago when Dipset lost the VERZUZ. He says, you got to think about it. The Lox is a group, and they're known as a group. Dipset isn't a group. It is a group. What are you talking about? You guys had like 3 million diplomatic immunity tapes. You guys always were in studio together. You operated as a group, and you performed a lot as a group in the beginning. You came up under Cam, and so did Jim, you know? Or Jim and Cam kind of did things together, but you know what I'm saying. Like, he learned how to rap under Cameron. The Lox only have 2 albums, man, and now they have more after that. But, like, at that, like... the early part of the career, 2 albums. One with Puff, one with Rough Riders. Then they went solo. Most of their career has been solo, and they perform solo. I guess he's just not very familiar with the Lox, which is crazy. They operate solo, but they knew each other from childhood, basically. You know, it's like, I used to do a lot of work with the Lox. They work in the same studio. You know, that's the thing that Dipset was always missing. They just didn't have a core studio. Everyone really, like, completely split off on their own, you know? And there should have been more unity in Dipset, but it just didn't work that way. Most people don't want to see the next person doing well. Dipset members hated each other. I remember doing something with this member, and they would talk smack about this member. Oh, I don't know. But then they do a song together, you know? It's like, that's how New York is. People will hate on each other that are friends with each other behind their back. It's cutthroat, man. Snake-like. That's how it is, man. I grew up that whole way my whole life. And it's just disappointing, man. You know? Chris Brown even Juelz. I was working with Juelz. I was working with him, and I'll tell you a story about Juelz real quick. So I was working with Juelz. I wanted Juelz to do well, man. This is around Skull Gang. I told him, yo, he got so offended by this. I said, focus on you and then focus on Skull Gang, bro. And I mapped out like 20 mixtape tracks. This is back in 07, 08. Really, you know? And I was like, yo, let's just do 20 videos and flood it, and it will get you back, like, to where you need to be without a label, and then you can work on Skull Gang. You can start integrating them. He was like, nah, I'm gonna do it like Cam and go all the way out at the same time. I said, this is a big mistake, bro. He took offense to that. Then me and Juelz had like a little fallout where he was supposed to... I was going over there a lot, and all I asked him to do was like, yo, just cover my, this is early, and I remember I just bet everything on the internet. I didn't have a ton of money at this time at all. You know, like, I was going a little over check to check per month, you know, around that time. This is 07, right? And, you know, some months you have money and some months you don't, especially when you're coming up like that, right? So I was like, yo, just cover my tolls and everything and the gas and everything. And, like, he just didn't have any money on him. And I was like, I missed a meeting, an important meeting in the city. Like, and I was like, I got to stay away from it at that point. So I stayed away from the studio for a week or two because I was like, yeah, I'm going to do some other stuff. You know, I get like, this guy doesn't respect my time, right? So he called me with someone, I'm not going to say the person's name, someone that we know mutually called me on the phone. It was really more his friend, right? And I was like, oh, what if? He's like, why aren't you coming to the studio? I said, I just got to leave it alone for a second. You know, Juelz, you know, I'll come back, you know. And then Juelz goes, I'm on the phone. I heard everything you said. I said, bro, what are you, a high schooler, bro? You kidding me? What? And, you know, me and Juelz pieced it up after that, but I that was like the most childish thing I've ever seen in my life, bro. I was like, this is a grown man? Come on, man, you know? Chris Brown reacts to people saying he has too many songs. It's true, he has too many songs on his album, and there's nothing that stands out. It's not like a crazy album. So he says, just want to say thank you to everyone who listened to the album. Been a lot of mixed reviews, and I can take my audience's criticism and opinions. The last 3 albums have came under the same scrutiny, and it eventually grew on people. Not really, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, Chris Brown isn't focused on music right now. It's pretty evident. It's fine. I mean, it's like he's been in the game for over 20 years at this point, you know, so it's expected. But I think he should just focus on 10 songs, you know? 30 songs, bro? Like, you just trying to get out of a contract or something? Yeah, I think there's like 27, 30 songs. It's a lot. And you should have just picked the best 10, to be honest, you know? Kris Jenner being called out a touch after promoting a $22 Erewhon smoothie. It's true, but the whole Erewhon is like a rich... it's like Whole Foods on steroids, bro. Like, it's like a smoothie costs $20. You can get some honey there that costs $50. Like, I mean, probably water costs $10. You know, it's like it's insane. And people, this is where Los Angeles is just like its own little like weird place. Okay, and this is probably the only place this could exist. I might be wrong. Maybe they exist in other areas, but like. I'm shopping at Erewhon. This is Erewhon water. It's so much more delicious than your Whole Foods water. It's like LA is like a weird place like that. Like, people will spend their last dollar on a G-Wagon just to fit in, you know? It's crazy. A lot of places are like that, but like LA is like on it on steroids. That's my only point. Well, Jermaine Dupri goes on Earn Your Leisure. I knew he was going to have to respond to this. And he talks about, oh, you know, I had all the I wrote everything on, first of all, Kris Kross, if you don't know, you probably don't know. They came out in the early 90s. This was probably to be honest with you, this was around one of my first albums I ever bought as a kid, you know? This one, I still remember the song, I Miss the Bus. It hit something I'll never, ever, ever do again. About this and the Snoop Dogg album, like right around the same time. These were like my early albums. Not my first, but like I remember these. Of course, I caught up and like bought like Rakim and stuff around that time too. But like, I don't know. I remember this was one of the first times I earned a little bit of money, you know, doing whatever, like maybe shoveling a sidewalk or something. And my mom took me to Sam Goody. I don't know if you remember Sam Goody, and I bought this album. I also bought Snoop Dogg's album around that time. Man, I mean, maybe my time, yeah, that's a long time ago. I mean, I had to be like, I don't know, 9, 8, something like that. I was young. Maybe, somewhere around that age. Man. But anyways, he says, when they sold 2 million, I made 2 million records. I made $1 million. And it did sound like, first of all, this guy loves working with kids, right? And it just sounded predatory. So now he has to respond to it. Let me play his response. I don't want to play the whole thing.
Yo, what's up, y'all? I'm gonna get right to it. I ain't even play no games with this. Earlier today, I posted this clip from Earn Your Leisure interview that I did, where I'm talking about me writing Kris Kross' first album. 100% pipe. I seen people saying I finessed him. I seen people calling me a predator. Man, I seen people say you should blame the parents for letting me do what I did to the Chris's. And the shit just keeps going on and on and on, right? I need all of you niggas that's saying all of this shit to come to the front of the congregation right now. Come down here, sit. We gonna unpack this right now. So just so y'all clear, I want y'all to hear me really, really good. It was a time in Atlanta when young kids didn't want to rap. It was a time in Atlanta when young kids didn't even have an idea that they could become rappers. It was a time in Atlanta when a young producer went to a mall and met 2 kids that weren't even a group. They was just 2 kids. I saw them and I said, yo, what y'all do? And the 2 kids told me nothing. And I keep saying 2 kids because I want y'all to understand, they was just 2 kids. They had no idea that they was a group. I decided y'all should be a group. They had never been to the studio. They had never had a thought to be a group. They never wanted to be a group. They weren't running around Atlanta with a demo tape trying.
These kids were like 9, weren't they? Like 10?
To shop it. It's as if, I don't know what it is about Kris Kross that makes y'all want to move the goalposts, but prior to Kris Kross, I had this other group called Silk Times Leather. And these was girls. This was a girl group, all-female group called Silk Times Leather from Atlanta. I wrote and produced a whole album as well. Now,
It didn't do as well as Kris Kross, bro.
I didn't make millions of dollars. I think I made the most I made, probably $50,000 at the most. That's the most I made. But that don't sound like nothing to y'all, so y'all don't give a fuck about that, right? Cool. But I did write and produce a whole album. But I ain't finessed them, right? Because I ain't make the $50,000.
No, nobody's even heard of them.
Anyway, otherwise known as Joe the Butcher. So, Joe the Butcher basically mixed the Silk Times Leather record, and we finally get to this one song, Little Boys in the Hood. I get these guys a record deal with Rough House Records, and you know how much money I got from that record deal? Nothing. So, Kris Kross got paid before we go in the studio, we start writing, we do what we do. I make Jump, send Jump to Rough House, boom, everybody go crazy, put the song out. The song goes, I think, gold in a week. It was platinum the second week. It was double platinum in the third week or some shit like that. I got no money like that. I'm not making that type of money. They doing shows. Are y'all paying? Are you hearing me?
Nah, I get it what he's saying, but it's like it just sounded crazy the way he framed it, you know? So it's good he did a follow-up. I still think he's a little weird though, but hey. Let's see. Rick Ross trying to drop this out. Yeah, I would rethink this, bro, unless you're just doing it for fun. Because, like, people ain't listening to your songs right now. You got to do something different. These ain't hitting. I don't know what he could do. Just got to do something, though. Let's see. Yeah, that's about it. We'll just leave it here. This is Jordan Tower with JT News. Make sure you smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. I'll check you guys the next one. Peace.